Orville Gibson started by selling his instruments out of a studio-sized workshop in Kalamazoo, Michigan. In 1898, he patented the single-piece mandolin design, one that was more durable and could be produced in mass volume. By 1902, Gibson Mandolin Company was marketing the instruments, which initially were Gibson's original designs. Orville passed away in 1918. A year later, the company would hire a new designer by the name of Lloyd Loar to design newer instruments. Loar designed the Gibson F5 before leaving in 1924. During World War II, instrument production slowed due to a shortage of wood and metal. Gibson then made wood and metal parts for the military. In 1949, Gibson hired Ted McCarthy, who would lead an expansion of the guitar line with new guitars such as the Les Paul, which then became the most popular guitar to date from Gibson. In recent history, Gibson factories were raided under grounds of violating the Lacey Act. The case was settled in 2012, and Gibson had to pay a fine of $300,000.
Our Les Paul starts in Florida, where they process the mahogany for the bottom of the body and neck of the guitar. Gibson uses mahogany to create their signature dense sound. Then we go all the way to Minnesota, where Gibson gets their maple top for the guitar body and neck. It gives the guitar a soft sound. Some Les Pauls, such as the Les Paul Special and Slash Signature Les Paul, use redwood from India and ebony from Madagascar. In 2011, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife discovered that wood came from protected forests and therefore it was bought illegally, and confiscated the red rosewood and ebony. Gibson claimed that they didn't know the wood was illegal and agreed to pay to settle the lawsuit and now use legal rosewood and ebony. Our next step is in Madrid, Spain, where the strings and crine are manufactured. The crine is what the nut is made out of. The nut is between the frets and the head. To make strings, workers attach a cord to machine rollers that twist other cords around the main cord to create tight spirals, which are the grooves in the string. Then we're in Shanghai, China, who manufactures the pickups and steel that go in the guitar. The steel includes a steel rod that lays inside the neck and the bridge and the turners. Then we end up in Gibson's factory in Nashville, Tennessee, where all the components are shipped, then manufactured into a guitar by hand. About 200 guitars are made here each day. To a lot of musicians, working at the Gibson factory would be a dream, but workers have given their opinion to a website called Glassdoor.com on their experiences at work. Between 109 reviews, the average rating was only 1.8 out of 5, with only 14% approval rate. They say they get paid very little and are mistreated by the CEO, Henry Jeskowitz. Then all guitars are shipped to various suppliers around the world where the consumer, which is you, can buy them. This includes places like Guitar Center and Sam Ash. The standard Les Paul sells for around $2,000 to $5,000.
Gibson is able to successfully outsource its business thanks to capitalism and our free market. The pricing of an individual product is determined by supply and demand through the free pricing system. The production frontier graph shows the possible production capabilities of Gibson guitars. Gibson has been reported to sell approximately 720 guitars an hour. Using this information, we can make a rough estimation that 10 guitars of each model are produced in an hour, as shown by point B. Point A shows a scenario where they manufactured 13 units of guitar A in an hour and only 7 units of guitar B. Point Y represents the possibility that is unreachable, whereas point X is possible but not as desirable as points A, B, or C. Gibson will study the current supply and demand of the market in order to decide what model of guitar to increase production on.
Hey you, let's do a quick review. The mahogany wood for the bottom of the body and the neck comes from Florida, and the maple wood for the top of the body and the fretboard comes straight from Minnesota. The strings and the corian come from Madrid in Spain. All the steel, including the tuners, steel rod, bridge, and the pickups, are made in Shanghai and China. The paint for the guitar body comes from Reno, Nevada. The guitar itself is assembled and put together in Memphis, Tennessee at the Gibson factory. Finally, finished guitars are shipped to Gibson suppliers worldwide.